Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Mike Hattabaugh from HEROMarriage.com. Everybody gets angry sometimes. Stay tuned for what to do when it happens. Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Hero Marriage. One of the things I encounter all the time are couples who get angry at each other, and a lot of times there are a lot of wounds and a lot of scars that are caused by things that we say and do when we're really emotional about something. Now, we can't go into every detail of this today, but today I want to give you 3 things you can do when you get angry that will really help you process through something as your partner does it. The reality is that from time to time, even the best couples get angry at each other. It's just a truth about relationships. Your partner is going to forget what's important to you, and you're going to forget what's important to your partner. And when we do that, when we act and say things that seem like we don't care about whatever it is that our partner finds to be important, that's when we get angry at each other. And so I want to walk you through the 3 things that you can do to kind of minimize that pain and so that it doesn't cause long-term damage on your relationship. So when you get angry, the first thing that you need to do as soon as you experience that anger is you ready? Shut up. Just shut up. Walk away. Have an agreement ahead of time that once the 2 of you get angry, either one of you gets angry, that you ought to have permission to walk away for a period of time. Now, there are some couples that this isn't good advice for because we have some people in relationships that walk away too much. You can't walk away and never come back. You can't avoid this issue forever. But I'm mainly talking about when people are about to be angry personally right in front of their partner. They're going to blow up, get angry, blow off steam, say things they regret, do things they regret. That's when you need to shut up and walk away. Close your mouth. If you have to go scream in a pillow, go write out whatever it is you wanted to say and then throw it away, do that. But it's so important in the heat of the battle to just separate, to be quiet, move away. Because realize that one of the things that happens when we get angry is we go, okay, I'm angry. I want you to be angry too. Or I want you to feel the pain that I'm feeling. So I'm going to say and do things to you that hurt. That is a almost guaranteed recipe for failure in relationships if you do that. So when you get angry, I want you, first of all, to just shut up and move away. Now, the next bit of advice is very important, but you need to realize that the time frame for this advice is going to be different for every couple and for every person. And that is, after you shut up, I want you to refocus. Now, sometimes people can refocus in 10, 15 minutes and come back and have a very calm conversation. Other people need some time, sometimes a day or two, to refocus, to let go of that anger, to move out of that emotional space into one where we can have a conversation. Now, what I don't want you to do is to just let that emotion die over a period of time and then never deal with it. At some point, we've got to come back and have a conversation, but we need time to refocus. So it doesn't mean that just because you're angry, you quit thinking about it. You need to refocus that energy and ask the question, what is it I can do or say that will improve this problem? Now, people say at this point, it's like, well, I thought we're not supposed to, get angry for a long period of time. I'm not saying get angry for a long period of time. One of the Bible verses people quote about anger is it says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. Well, what that means is don't wallow in it. Don't, make it to be a thing that you never get over. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of couples that when they get angry, they bring up things from the distant past. That's not letting the sun go down on your anger. So it's not a literal sense of, I'm angry, we have to deal with this before we go to sleep tonight, though that is certainly preferential. The reality, though, is if you're still angry and you try to fix this before you go to sleep, you're just going to make it harder to sleep. The reality is that you need to sometimes wait a longer period of time to truly refocus. And refocus means, what did I do wrong? How can I deal with this better so that when we do come back together to talk about this, I can be more rational, I'm not going to get angry, and we can really truly deal with the problem. Which leads us to the third thing that I want you to do. And that is that when you actually come back together, after you've shut up, you've refocused, and now you're coming back together to talk about it, I want you to do something that's really, really important. And that is, I don't want you to talk about the emotion. I want you to talk about the problem. A lot of couples come together after they've been really upset with each other and just say, man, you made me really mad. Wow, I was so upset. And the partner goes, oh, well, I'm sorry you're upset. I didn't mean to make you upset. Well, you did. Well, I'm sorry I made you upset. And that's the end of the discussion. The reality is at that point, we didn't solve anything. And sure enough, a day, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years down the road, we're going to get angry at that same exact issue when it comes back up again. It's really important that you don't just talk about the emotion, that you talk about the problem. Make it real and tangible. Put something in front of you that represents it and says, hey, you know what? This is the 6th time that you said this to me, and you know that it really bothers me. And I think you're just doing it to push my buttons. That's talking about the problem. That's really important. You have to talk about the problem to get down to the base of it. Now, if you're at a place where you can't talk about the problem, then you probably need some coaching. You need someone that can come alongside you and help you deal with the problem in a real efficient way and say, here's what we see. How can we deal with this so that both of you can either at least live together with it? It may not mean that we ever truly solve the problem, but we learn how to communicate it in a way that we can avoid it most of the time. Now, that's effective coaching. It's what I do when I help people. But you can do that yourself with most issues if you can sit down and truly be rational about what it is that you're talking about. It doesn't mean that you don't ever talk about the emotion. It's just most couples, that's all they do, is they go back over the bad feelings and say, I'm sorry I hurt you. Now, I get it. Sometimes there are things that were just, not meant to be talked about. They were just kind of silly stuff. But that's not really the problem here. Most of the couples I know that really struggle with some deep-seated anger issues, there are real issues beneath that they really need to address. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here, is that you need to sit down and talk about the problem. I even encourage couples, put it on paper once you've come to a solution. It's amazing how often people think, oh, we talked about it, we came to an agreement, and just to find out that you didn't really, or what you thought was an agreement between each other wasn't. One of you thought one thing, one of you thought another. So I really encourage couples over major issues like this, put it on paper, write it down and say, you know what, you agree, I agree that I will not bring this, thing up in our lives anymore because it only causes pain, whatever that thing is. And then you can look at it and you can both agree at that point. What you've written down is something you can agree on. Again, one of the sneaky things we do to ourselves in relationships is we think, well, I've kind of slyly agreed to this, but not really. And so guess what? It's going to come up again and again and again. So my question is, do you really want to fix it? Do you really want your relationship to be one where anger is a rare emotion and you have more happiness and joy? Then you've got to do that. All right, so let's recap. So what I want you to do when you get angry is, first of all, I want you to shut up, move away, spend some time away. That differs again depending on what happened, but you need to talk about this ahead of time, especially if one of you kind of runs away from problems and the other one pursues. You need to agree on, well, here's the length of time that's okay. Then after you've shut up for a while, I want you to refocus. What really just happened? Why did it make you angry? Were you already upset about something else? So maybe your anger really wasn't even appropriate to your partner. Maybe you were upset about something that happened early in your day at work. That's refocusing. Then after you refocus, when you come back together, don't just talk about the emotion, all right? Talk about the real problem. Focus on the problem. Design real solutions that you can engage together. I encourage you to put it on paper if it's a real serious issue that you deal with all the time. And I think that if you'll do those 3 steps, I think that most couples, their anger will become less of an issue in the relationship. Now, some of us, unfortunately, have more serious anger issues. There's things in our past, things in our personality, things that we need to deal with on an even deeper level. A lot of times that needs some counseling. And so that's a whole nother issue. So one of the things I always like to finish these kind of things with is that this is never an excuse for any bad behavior. There's no excuse for physical violence. There's no excuse for emotional abuse. And sometimes anger is used as that excuse, all right? This is never an excuse for any of that. If it's traumatic, if it's something that serious, then we need to get some serious help and that's different than just dealing with it on this basis. Hey, I appreciate you. If you've liked this video, I want to encourage you to, if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, there's a button down there, the Patreon page. My Patreon supporters that support these videos really mean a lot to me, and they enable these videos to happen. We also have some Hero Marriage courses and Hero Marriage coaching that you can do. We have a course for couples that are dating. We have a course for couples that are getting ready to get married. And then we have a course called Hero Marriage that's about couples that have been married and want to make their relationship even better. I also do some Hero Marriage coaching, both individual and group coaching. You can find that again at our website, heromarriage.com. Thanks for watching this. If you know somebody that struggles with this, can you share that with them? And can you hit that subscribe button and the notification button so every time Hero Marriage puts out a new video, you'll be the first to know. We sure appreciate you watching these and love the support, encouragement that you give us. And as always, hope that you have a hero marriage.